The word hope is more than a word. It's a force. It's the quiet whisper that tells you to keep going when everything around you says to quit. It's the spark in the darkness that refuses to be extinguished, no matter how strong the storm. Hope isn't just wishful thinking. It's a mindset. It's a belief that something better is ahead, even though you can't see it yet. Think about a time when you felt lost, when the weight of the world pressed down on your shoulders. Maybe you felt like nothing was going your way, like every step forward was met with resistance. What got you through it? It wasn't just luck. It wasn't just time passing. It was hope. It was a belief. It was faith that even in your lowest moments, you could rise again. When people lose hope, something inside of them fades. They stop trying. They stop believing in themselves, in their future, in their ability to change. They settle. They succumb. They become a shadow of who they once were. But when hope is alive, it changes everything. It fuels resilience, ignites creativity, and keeps us moving forward even when the road is uncertain. History is filled with people who held on to hope when all odds were against them. Think of the inventors who failed hundreds of times before finally succeeding. Think of the athletes who pushed through injuries and setbacks to achieve greatness. Think of the people who rose from nothing, defying their circumstances to create something extraordinary. They didn't make it because everything was easy. They made it because despite the struggle, they never let go of hope. Hope isn't passive. It's not just sitting back and waiting for things to get better. It's about showing up every day, putting in the work, and believing that your efforts will lead to something greater. Hope is waking up and saying, today I'll take one more step. Today I'll push a little harder. Today I refuse to let my circumstances define me. But hope also requires nurturing. You can't expect to hold on to it if you consistently surround yourself with negativity. If you feed your mind with doubt and fear. Protect your hope. Guard it. Defend it. Feed it with inspiration. Surround yourself with people who lift you up. And remind yourself daily that no storm lasts forever. No matter what you're going through right now, know this: your story isn't over. The road ahead may be uncertain, but that doesn't mean it's not leading somewhere incredible. Keep your hope alive. Let it be the fire that pushes you forward, the light that guides your way. Because as long as you have hope, you have a chance to turn things around, to rise again, and to create a future that's even better than you've imagined. We tend to think that growth is always about more, adding new skills, gaining new experiences, meeting new people, and climbing to higher places. But sometimes growth isn't about addition at all. Sometimes it's about deletion. It's about releasing the things that weigh us down so we can rise to our full potential. You see, we all carry things that no longer serve us. Maybe it's an old habit that keeps pulling you back to square one. Maybe it's a version of yourself you've outgrown, a version rooted in self-doubt, fear, and limiting beliefs. Or maybe it's a relationship that drains you instead of lifting you up. Whatever it is, holding on to it is like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. You're still moving, but the weight is slowing you down. Truth is, you can't step into what you're meant to be if you're still holding on to who you used to be. Think about a tree in autumn. It doesn't fight to hold on to its leaves. It doesn't fear letting go. It trusts the process. It knows that shedding the old makes way for the new. Because without letting go, there's no space for spring to bring new life. Growth works the same way for us. To move forward, we have to let go of what's behind. Let go of that old story you keep telling yourself about why you're not good enough. Let go of the toxic relationships that make you shrink. Let go of the comfort zone that feels safe, but it's actually suffocating. And sometimes you have to let go of the very dream you thought would define you to make room for the new one that will transform you. But letting go isn't easy because we cling to the familiarity, even when it hurts, out of fear of the unknown. But let me ask you this, what's scarier? Letting go of what's holding you back or staying stuck in the same place forever? Imagine a hot air balloon. The only way it rises is by releasing its sandbags, those heavy weights that keep it tethered to the ground. The moment it lets go, it soars. And the same goes for you. Your potential isn't something you need to chase. It's already within you. You just have to drop those weights. Take a moment and ask yourself, what do I need to let go of? What habits, relationships, or versions of myself are keeping me grounded? And be honest. Because the first step to freedom is recognizing what's holding you captive. And once you see it, you can decide right here, right now, that you won't let it define you anymore. You're allowed to let go of the past. You're allowed to outgrow the old version of yourself. You're allowed to walk away from people or places that no longer align with your purpose. And you're allowed to step into the new, even if it's uncertain, even if it's uncomfortable, because that's where growth lies. At the end of the day, you get to decide whether you'll stay weighed down or rise. The choice is yours. Let go of the fear, let go of the excuses, let go of anything that's holding you back, because your future is waiting. And it's lighter, brighter, and more beautiful than you can imagine. But first, you have to release what no longer belongs. Picture yourself driving down the road and someone asks you, how many red cars did you see today? You'd probably pause, shrug, and say, I didn't notice any. But why didn't you? Because red cars weren't on your radar. You weren't paying attention to them. But if I told you I'd give you $50 for every red car you spot, suddenly red cars would pop out everywhere. You'd be amazed at how many there are, zipping by, parked in driveways, or lined up at stoplights. And it's not that the red cars suddenly appeared out of nowhere. They were always there. You just weren't looking for them. This is the red car theory, and it's a perfect example of how we view opportunities in life. Most of us go through our days, our weeks, maybe even our entire lives, not noticing the opportunities that surround us. Why? Because we're not looking for them. But what if you trained your mind to be on the lookout for opportunities? Just as you would those red cars. Imagine what you'd start to see. Opportunities like those red cars are everywhere. They're in the people you meet, the books you read, the challenges you face, and the quiet moments when ideas spark. But too often we're so focused on what's familiar, what's comfortable, or what's routine that we completely miss them. Our attention is elsewhere, so the chances and possibilities stay hidden in plain sight. See, when you start looking for something specific, your brain zeroes in on it. This is because our minds have a unique system called the reticular activating system, which filters what we notice based on what we focus on. When you direct your focus, you're telling your brain what's important to you. So if you start to actively look for opportunities, your brain will begin to reveal them. Just like with the red cars, you'll start seeing opportunities everywhere because now you're primed to notice them. Many of us think opportunities are rare or reserved for the lucky few, but luck often has little to do with it. Luck favors the prepared and the aware. People who seem lucky are often those who've trained themselves to notice potential everywhere. They're open, curious, and willing to see things others overlook. So what if you adopted this mindset? What if you became one of those people who are constantly on the lookout, scanning your surroundings, your experiences, your conversations, for anything that could lead to growth, success, or a new adventure? The truth is, opportunity is a mindset. It's the choice to see each moment as a door that could open, each problem as something you can solve, and each day as a new chance to go after what you want. But it requires you to be proactive. It requires you to set your intentions, to tell your mind, this is what I'm looking for. And just like the red cars, once you're aware, you'll be astonished by what you find. Make the switch and decide that starting today, you're going to start searching for opportunities. Every morning tell yourself, I'm going to be open to whatever good comes my way today. Whether it's a conversation that leads to a new idea, a challenge that pushes you to grow, or even a book that inspires you. Opportunity could be anywhere. You just have to be ready to see it. Don't be the person who goes through life missing out on what's right in front of them. Be the one who sees what others don't. Because once you start looking for those red cars, once you start looking for opportunity, you'll realize they've been right there all along, just waiting for you to notice. It's okay to be different. In fact, you being different is exactly what this world needs. Why do so many of us feel the need to blend in? Society pushes us to fit into these neat little boxes, dress like others, think like others, live like others. But the truth is, greatness is rarely found in the crowd. It's those who dare to stand out, who swim upstream, who change the world. I mean, think about it. Every great inventor, artist, and leader made a decision to be different. The Wright brothers were laughed at for believing humans could fly. Einstein's ideas were initially dismissed by his peers. Steve Jobs once said, "The people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who do." What all these people had in common wasn't just intelligence or talent. It was the courage to walk a different path. But here's the truth. Being different isn't easy. It comes with risk. People might question your choices, and some are going to criticize you. But fitting in at the cost of losing yourself is far more dangerous. Living someone else's version of success leads only to regret. There's freedom in being yourself. When you stop chasing approval, you can pursue what really matters to you. That's where real happiness lies, not in following trends, but in creating your own path. Every one of us has unique gifts, unique thoughts and ideas. And if you bury those gifts to fit in, the world loses out. There's only one you. You were not born to be a copy. You were born to leave your mark. So why hide? Why settle for blending in when you were made to shine? Yes, daring to be different comes with challenges. There will be moments of doubt. There will be times you stand alone. But the reward is authenticity. It's waking up each day knowing you're living life on your own terms, not someone else's script. Ask yourself, what kind of life do you really want? A life where you play small and safe, or a life where you express yourself fully and discover the incredible things you're capable of? The world doesn't need more people trying to fit in. The world needs bold souls willing to be different. Because those who dare to step away from the crowd, they're the ones who inspire change. and ignite ideas, achieve greatness. So make a choice. Dare to be different. Dare to dream, dare to speak up, and dare to live boldly. In the end, it's not about fitting in, it's about standing out. And the ones who stand out, they're the ones who change the world. Be different. Be real. Be you. What's your morning routine? Now, it's something that might seem small, but let me tell you, how you start your day can have a huge impact on everything that follows. Imagine this, you wake up, hit the snooze button a few times, then you rush through the morning in a panic. You're already behind, stressed and unfocused. Does that sound familiar? Now imagine waking up with intention. You have a plan. You know what's important, and you start your day on your terms. That's the difference a morning routine makes. Why does it matter so much? Because the way you spend those first few hours sets the tone for the entire day. It's like the foundation of a house. If it's strong, everything else has a solid base to stand on. If it's shaky, the whole day feels like it could fall apart. But more than that, a morning routine is a form of self-discipline. And discipline leads to success. When you choose to take control of your morning, you're choosing to take control of your life. You're telling yourself, I'm in charge of my day, not the other way around. So how can you create a morning routine that sets you up for success? Here's a few simple but powerful tools that you can use starting right away. First, wake up early. This one might sound obvious, but it's critical. Waking up even 30 minutes earlier than usual can make a big difference. It gives you time to breathe, plan, and focus before the world starts demanding things from you. You're creating space to set your mind right. Second, move your body. You don't need to run a marathon, but get your body moving, whether it's stretching, yoga, a quick workout, or even a walk. Getting your blood flowing will wake you up and energize you. Physical movement is a great way to clear your mind and get yourself in a positive state. Third, try some mindfulness or a quick meditation. Take a few minutes to do a self-check-in. It doesn't have to be long, just 5-10 minutes of focusing on your breathing or centering your thoughts can make a huge difference. This will help you set up the day with clarity and intention, rather than letting the chaos of the world control your mind. Number 4, set your priorities. Plan out your top 3 priorities for the day, or what I call the must-do list. What are the things you must accomplish? When you have a clear focus, you're far more likely to be productive and stay on track. So write them down and commit to getting them done. Number 5, fuel your body and mind. Feed your body with nutritious food and feed your mind with something positive, whether it's reading a chapter from a book, listening to a podcast, or simply thinking of a few things you're grateful for. Start the day with something that fuels you, both physically and mentally. No, I'm not saying you need to do all of these things every single morning. The key is to create a routine that works for you. Something that gets you into the right mindset. It gives you energy and it helps you focus on what matters most. Remember, success doesn't happen by accident. It happens through consistent action. And that action starts the moment you wake up. If you want to be productive, if you want to move forward in life, it starts with how you choose to begin each day. So take control of your mornings. Build a routine that empowers you. Don't leave your day up to chance. Start strong and you'll finish strong. You know, we're emotional beings. Some days we're up, other days we're down. Sometimes we can break through barriers, while other times we're too weak to get off the couch. We can feel powerful, then in an instant we can be triggered and feel overwhelmed. I mean, what's going on with our emotions? Why can't we seem to control our inner feelings? And why do we have so many down times? Really, in a single day, you can experience the full range of emotions from highs to lows. How you feel internally is directly related to your external factors, but that's not where the power lies. Where it all begins is with your state, or in other words, your state of mind. When you're in a happy, positive state, the emotions that flow are generally aligned with your positivity. Hence, you act positive, you think positive, and you feel positive. In this state, life's good, and all the outside forces are filtered through this positive lens. But let's look at an example of the opposite that we can all relate to. What's your state first thing in the morning? Are you positive and ready to go? Energized? Unlikely. Most people will start the day in a low activation state. That's why they feel sluggish, maybe grumpy. This experience is being filtered by that low activation state, and our emotions are following. See, how you interpret the world is through your state. It's not the outside factors that affect you. It's how you're filtering these things. So if we want to feel more positive and energetic, it stands to reason that we need to get ourselves into a positive and energetic state. Well, easier said than done. As I mentioned earlier, we tend to drift into negative much easier than positive. We blame the outside world, but again, how we view the outside world is through the lens of our state. So the real issue is, how do we get ourselves into positive states more often? Our brain's default system is to see what's going wrong or what's lacking. And when you're looking for problems, well, guess what? You're going to find them everywhere. You don't even have to look for them because they're fed to you from all directions. Whether it's the news or gossip or social feeds, there's negativity coming at you from everywhere. And the more we focus on all this stuff, the worse we feel. Our emotions come from this negative state, which is filtering all this information. So no wonder the population thinks the world is bad. Look at what we're being fed. So here's the thing. We don't control the outside forces. We only control how we interpret the forces, which requires that I control my state if I want to keep in a positive mood. All right, there's two ways to do it. First, focus on the positive. Be grateful for what you have. What you look for, you'll find. And second, change your physiology. Get up, get moving. Feed or strengthen your body and you'll start to feel better. Remember, it's all about getting yourself into a better state so that you can filter the world and your emotions will follow. Imagine you're in a boat and ready to set sail, anxious to take off for your desired destination. There's very little wind, the waters are calm, and the sun is shining brightly. In advance of this journey, you've mapped out your favorite route, factoring all the options: where to launch, which islands to circumvent, the marinas, where to gas up, where to buy food, where you'll drop anchor for overnight stays, all of this. You've worked out all the details. So on this beautiful day, you set sail. And in the beginning, all's well. Everything going according to plan. You're hitting your marks, you're cruising along, and life is good. Assuming all these factors remain consistent, this is going to be an easy ride. But as any captain will tell you, these good times can change at any moment. You see, the truth is that weather isn't uncontrollable. Therefore, the waters can get rough. And as the captain of your cruise, it's your job to navigate it all to keep the boat on course. Imagine the days where the fog gets so intense. On those days, we lose sight of the markers, and we just have to trust that our coordinates are accurate and we're steering the boat in the right direction. Regardless of the outside conditions, the destination is not going to change. The waters might get choppy, therefore it's going to slow us down, and other factors may come into play. But we keep the faith that as long as we keep moving, we'll eventually reach our destination. And such is life when we're pursuing any goal, be it personal or business. In the beginning, the first steps are easy. It's clear what has to happen, and we're excited to start the journey. And this feeling will usually persist until the first signs of trouble. These will typically be the uncontrollables in our lives. Just like the weather when we're boating, these factors are going to affect our daily pursuits. Or as I like to call it, the fog has entered our mind, and now it's challenging us in our goals. So what, pray tell, is the fog, and how do I get rid of it? Well, great question. The fog can be described as negative thoughts, doubts, your fears, the anxiety, the internal questioning of our decisions, and the overall emotional shift from positive to negative. The fog is obstructing our view of our goals. Suddenly, all we see is this thick gray that creates resistance. Understand that this is normal. Just like the cruise, our job is to keep the faith and keep moving. Don't question what you believe to be true. The fog is not your friend. You have to believe that your destination, which you clearly saw in the beginning, is still out there. And as long as you keep taking the small steps, that fog will eventually lift and you'll have reached your goal. So many people, when confronted with the fog, begin to doubt their ability to navigate the waters. Therefore, they retreat back to where they started. Don't let this happen to you. Keep the faith. Keep moving. Believe it, and you'll eventually achieve it. I've got a question for you, and you may or may not be able to answer it right away. But here it is. What's your gift? What's your talent or skill that you've been blessed with that separates you from all the others? I believe that we've all been gifted with something that makes us unique. We all hold something innate within us that is our true being. So what's your gift? Have you clearly identified what it is? If not, then maybe that's why life doesn't feel quite right. You've been given a blessing and you're not exercising it. You're not growing into your true potential simply because you haven't identified your true calling. And I dare say that most people are living a life without understanding what is really meant for them. They've been following the crowd, but in doing so, they've left the path that's true to themselves. What's your gift? Maybe you've known for a while. You saw it or you felt it a long time ago, and that's great. If so, next question. Are you maximizing your gift? How much time are you dedicating to fulfilling that blessing and bringing it out into the world? You see, happiness is at the corner of pleasure and purpose. Doing what we love to do while pursuing a greater goal. When we use our gifts, we are living the life we were meant to live. And when we live with purpose, we are at our most content. Think of the gifted athlete who dismisses their abilities to become, let's say, a banker. Not that there's anything wrong with working in the financial industry. For many people, working with numbers and chasing the dollar, well, that's their gift. But for the athlete, he or she was built for another life. And I understand that life sometimes brings responsibilities. They force us to put aside our wants for our needs. I get that. You know, the need for income to keep a roof over our head or food on the table, and I'm not dismissing what are facts of life. But that athlete, to be content and fulfilled, he or she would be better suited in the sports industry. If not the athlete on the field or the pitch or the rink, then maybe they're the coach or the referee, the manager or the scout. If you were made for athletics, then what are you doing in finance? Here's another way to look at it. If money was removed from the equation, what would you be doing right now? How would you fill your days? When pondering this question, we start to reveal our passions, and somewhere in our passions we'll find our gift. If you want to be truly content, it requires you to use your gifts to their fullest potential. This explains why so many, at the end of their lives, regret the decisions not to follow their passions. They've lived a life without purpose. They had gifts, and they wasted them. Note earlier that I said happiness is at the corner of pleasure and purpose. It wasn't at the corner of money and things. It's been proven over and over again that things do not bring us pleasure. When we're younger, we may believe this, but as we grow in age, what we really want are the experiences and purpose. So find your gift, find your purpose, and you'll find your truest self.